Hey, hello everybody. Once again, my name is Greg West, coming to you on Road to Freedom No More Change podcast and YouTube channel here. Today we will be talking with our friend Toni Holmes, and she will be talking about the importance of us ex-offenders learning how to establish credit, the steps of going to buy a home or land and stuff like that. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce what this channel is about. We're here to change the narrative of what people think about restored citizens. You know, we know we've done our crime, we've done our time and everything like that, and now we've come home and we're doing a lot of positive things in the community. And we need the public to know that, we're no longer third class citizens, and we will hope with the information that we bring to you that you don't always brand people as a third class citizen. We have people out here, like we said tonight, we'll be talking about the importance of real estate and everything. So we have people who are doing positive things in the community. As you know, this channel is dedicated and brought to us by Felons with a Future, which is a nonprofit organization that I started and I am the CEO, where we help restored and returning citizens to become business owners and maintain jobs in this community. With that being said, today's guest is Toni Holmes with her realty, but really for her. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about her, not her realty. But Toni, please introduce yourself and tell us a little something about yourself.
Hello. Yes, I am Toni Holmes. You might know me on Facebook as Talking to Toni C. That's me because I hold a lot of positions, life coach and a motivational public speaker. And I have some secrets about to come out in store for the community, everyone. And now we can add to that portfolio. Toni Holmes, the realtor. I'm with HER Realtors. It's been a rough, challenging journey, but guess what? I didn't give up, and now I can honestly say that I'm a realtor.
Okay. See, those are things that we need the community to know that if we start a goal, we can fulfill it, and that like one thing people don't understand is here in Ohio, restored citizens, depending on the nature of the crime, can have them a realtor's license and everything like that. So when I found out about you, I said, "Oh yes, I have to get her on the show." Because to motivate somebody, because there might be somebody who wants to get into selling real estate but think that they can't do it because oh, I have this felony, now my life is over, and which we know is a lie. So what was the hardest thing about adjusting to society when you were released?
Woo! Let's see. Housing. I had, I mean, I had places to go. Of course, I had a family, but the society, the government, the justice system ended up getting a hold of me fresh out of high school. So, think about like your high school years and everything. All you thinking about is your life and how you're going to flourish, correct?
Right.
So you're like going to college, doing all this good stuff and everything. And then guess what? Something happened. Getting locked up and coming back into society, it was not friendly. It was definitely hard. It took a lot of my self-esteem.
Okay.
I had a child, just had a child. Like they waited till after I had her 3 months, and then I got locked up. I just had a child. So I couldn't come home and like reduce or what they call public housing. I couldn't. So I had to find a job. And that was one of the requirements of being on probation. You have to have a job. So they put you in a dead inmate's job, and it was only paid enough for me and my child to pay for the roof over our heads. With that being said, we was eating out of cans because guess what? We didn't have enough. Welfare was saying, "Oh no, you make too much." How? I'm a single parent with one child. I had to pay full rent, no help. Make me understand how I cannot get help. So it was really challenging. I had at that moment a support system, but my mindset was still stuck. Where they had it in prison.
Right. And hearing you talk about that support system, that's one of the things that we always like to talk about when we're doing our classes, the importance of a support system. If with you having that support system, who were some of the people that really helped you through all those tough times? And the importance of really, I'm trying to get at, the importance of establishing a good support system. Because like a lot of times, like my first time when I came home, I gravitated
Mhm.
back to the same people I was messing with, and
Absolutely.
I ended up getting back in trouble. I wasn't even home 9 months and 3 days, and the doors got kicked in again. So this time in 2011, I started doing some things differently, and one was changing my network, and finding a positive support system. So who were some of the people that you could say were positive support people for you?
Well, the number one, most people say parents, but my number one is my best friend, Cicely Shanti.
Okay.
Support system outside of, the wreckage, she always remind me of how great I'm going to become. Not just that moment, because I didn't see it. So just like you, yes, I did. I got home, and because you have to think, I felt like I was mischarged. I was like, hold on, yeah, another Black person,
Right.
you know, with ignorant parents. And I'm not saying that my parents are stupid. I'm saying they was ignorant, and they are ignorant to what? The law, the
The
justice
law.
system.
Right.
So it was an easy sentence for me. That judge didn't give me, she already had her made up, or her mind made up. When I sat there, or before I came, you already singled me out, boxed me in, and said you're guilty, and she didn't care about the truth from there. You know what I mean? So with that being said, of course I come back out, I'm still Toni. Like, because I didn't know what I did or what Toni did to lead me there. I was just, for me, defending myself. So of course I had the same people in my line, so yeah, I don't think it was so much of the environment at that moment that got me to where I went. It was me. It was my environment in my own head. And when I start going to prison, it didn't make it no better, because they treat you like an animal, and they instill in you that you are nothing. Look at where you at. And then when you get out, you trying to do better. But think about it. You have a child, you have to live. How you gonna live? You know what I mean? So
Right.
you go back to what? You're gonna go back to hustling, you're gonna go back to surviving. You get in that survivor mode by
Right.
any means necessary. So um it was for real. I'm gonna say the society was my support. The
Okay.
society, because it counted me out so much, and it kept telling me I'm nothing, that I'm not gonna be nothing, you're nothing but a number and a felon and all that stuff. And it kept telling me, no, I'm one of those people that when you put my back against the wall, I'm gonna win.
Right.
Like, you got me boxed in. I don't like to be boxed in. So my support system was my best friend, which she passed away. That's why you keep seeing me hold my arm. I had to get her tatted on my arm. My best friend. She thought she was like a Tupac, but of course, Tupac was way deeper. Don't take it all to the heart. But she was like a Tupac to me, because I was raised in a negative environment. And she taught me different, if that makes sense. She taught me what I can do, what you are. You are very intelligent. You are very smart, versus the environment, like, oh, well, you stupid, you this and that, you know what I mean? Like, it was more of a fire versus fire. And me and her was a fire, and she coming with some ice, you know.
So what was your friend's name again?
Cicely Shanti,
Okay, so we're going to always hold her up in high regards,
always.
because we have to, for anybody who helps us. We always got to hold them up in high regards. Um, One of the other questions that I always like to ask people: coming home, what would you wish you had known then that you know now, to try to make that adjustment a lot smoother?
Hmm. That's a tough question, Wes. That's a tough question. I just wish I would have known more about society, the law, the justice system, politics. I wish that in school it would have been more geared towards life. Teaching you about this injustice system, really teaching you, and in the politics, forcing it on us. It's like they force us to learn about American history, and that stuff don't even benefit us because it's a whole lie,
Right.
So I wish that I got taught that. And maybe I would have been able to do a little bit better at that moment.
So what motivated you to want to get into real estate?
Okay, so I've been wanting to get in real estate for years. So just like we were talking about previously before we went live, you get told you can't, you're not, you
Right.
can't, you can't. I just got tired of people telling me what I can or cannot do because I'm a felon,
Right.
So I'm like, I wanted to be a realtor. So I feel like it's still to this day. Like I just had a whole breakdown because I'm like, I feel like I'm fighting alone. I've been fighting all my life. I've been fighting for a better life. I've been fighting for a better environment. I've been fighting for being a better mother. It's just always a fight that never ends to me. So I'm sitting on my couch and I'm down and out, and I bought my first home at the age of 24. Keep in mind, I'm 21. I'm just, whatever. Anyways, so I'm like, you know what? I'm sitting there, and I always thought ahead. I always been a old soul. Even when I was super young, I always want to know. I was like, I'm engaged. I want to learn. Like, ooh, what's next? And come across the screen was something Holmes. And I was like, Holmes. And keep in mind, I'm used to my last name Holmes and is terrible in the justice system. So it was like, here go another Holmes, lock them up, So to hear it come across the TV screen as a success, I'm like, I engaged instantly, zoomed in. Holmes, who was that? And they said the lady's name that's killing the real estate game still to this day. And it really inspired me. Like I wasn't jealous of her. I was just motivated by her. I was like, ooh. So from there, it triggered something. But it didn't trigger me enough because I still continue to allow others to tell me, oh no, you're feeling it, you're not gonna be able to do it. No. And I'm like, I allow that to stop me for this long,
Okay. So what were some of the steps, for it might be a restored citizen that's watching this, and they might have the motivation that they might want to become a realtor or get into the real estate business and think that they can't do it. What were some of the steps that you had to go through that you could share with them that might, help navigate through all the pitfalls that you found yourself going through to make it, a little bit simpler for them, and also let them know that it can be done because you're living proof of it. We're looking at proof that you can.
Absolutely. The first thing I would say is research it yourself. Do not allow, because and I'm not saying they haters. What I'm saying, they don't know neither. So they getting told, they telling you stuff that they've been told. So it goes and it cycles and it recycles and it recycles until somebody be like, no. So I would tell them, when you ask a question, the best person to answer that is the people who's sitting there who designed it. Do not allow another realtor or anyone else to be like, no. You research it yourself. Align your people, yourself with like-minded people. And it's hard in the beginning because just like I said, like I didn't have, when my best friend died, I had no like-minded person around me. I just had other people trigger me like, you, Toni, do this, and you, that, you know what I mean? So I had to really get out of prison, out of my mindset, and be like, you know what? I want more. I know I can do more. And the first person that I end up reaching out to, fighting for, I mean, I literally got out my comfort zone and went up to this young lady's store, and we are friends to this day. and everybody might know her. That's Zante. She owned the Black thrift store, These Deals.
Okay.
She went to high school with me. I was homecoming queen, cheerleader, and all that stuff. You know what she told me? She thought I was stuck up and all this stuff. I counted her out, and I did, because I was this, other thing, but she didn't know that I was really dark in the inside of me. I was fighting a lot of stuff in the inside, so you couldn't fit in anyway. And I thought I couldn't fit in with her because she was too smart, So with that being said, she was the first initial person, literally, that I stepped out and was like, I'm about to find somebody who's doing good, that can trigger the goodness inside me and it can help me. So you align yourself with somebody and pray. My biggest supporter is I pray about everything. I'm praying right now as I'm talking to you. I'm not gonna lie. I pray about absolutely everything, because once upon a time in my life, I didn't believe in God. Not at all. I didn't at all. And I seen how my life was, and then now how it is now. So I always tell people about the testimonies, like, listen, I can't tell you what to do, but I go by my experiences. So I would say to research it yourself, find somebody that is doing something positive that you can go talk to and just be like, listen, I'm dark and I need help because I'm fighting and I want my light to come out, and pray all day. Find get in touch with your spiritual side, whether you is God or your higher power or whatnot. Get aligned with that, because that brings you peace in the inside of you, because everybody can tell you whatever, or you can be around a setting, all type of settings. But if you're not in peace in the inside of you, it doesn't matter. You're not going nowhere.
And that's so true. Working on the inner side, the inside, and removing a lot of the things that we've been holding on and blaming other people for, when we have to take a deep look at who we are and how we got there. That's one of the things that we do in our program. It's like we work with the men and women in our program to help them realize that there's a saying that I have, that I like to use, that I got from my spiritual advisor, that says, nothing's wrong with me, something happened to me.
Oh, I like that. That's deep.
We will say so many times, this is what's wrong with me, but at the end of the day, when I get to it, it was the trauma that led me to all of this stuff. So we work
Absolutely.
with each other, trying to, first identifying what the trauma was, and then start working on the healing. And so when you were just talking about, having that darkness inside of you, it all, from what I've understood about myself, it all led from what trauma did I have as a kid. And if
As a
I
kid.
don't, right, and if I don't get in touch with it, I don't know what to heal. And another thing that I appreciate you talking about was, finding those positive people to hang with. Because see, like, I got back in trouble when I came home, and we were talking about that today when was with a few people, today, when we were talking about a lot of the men and women that we work with, the participants we work with, they think just because I'm not selling drugs or this, I can still hang with these people. And one of the hardest things is to get them to understand, you got to change your environment. You can say you want to change your mindset all you want, but if I'm working on changing my mindset, but I'm still hanging out with Pookie and Ray Ray, and they doing, sooner or later, I'm going to end up doing what they've been doing all along anyway. So yeah, those are
It
some.
reference back to that saying, if you the brokest person, if you walk in a room full of four broke people, what are you going to become?
You're going to be
You might not become broke right there at that moment, but if you continue entering that same room,
right.
They broke. So they gonna have to come to you. You know what I mean? So and that reference back to what we talked about before we got on air too. That's why I wanna, that project that I told you I'm working on. That is the reason why.
So
but another thing too, like with so this was like the most challenging. Like when I say Wes, like seriously had me like, well, maybe I need to go back, is when everybody that I thought that was with me when I was on my dark side they was gonna root me, while I try to transition and while I transition to my good side, and I still have a dark because I'm human, you feel me?
Right.
But it doesn't out, I have a balance now. And the most trauma that I received from that was my family turning against me. Like all my family, like literally. And I never understood why. So I found myself dummying back down to get accepted by them because I didn't understand. And I'm like, they love me. And I'm a loyal person. It's all about loyal to me. Like, I don't care about nothing else. I don't want nothing else. I want your loyalty, all your loyalty, because I know you give me your loyalty. You have the love and respect, And but that right there, I watch that tear people down so hard that they do turn around or stay stuck just to be accepted by their family because they think that's their family. And you know what I held on to? I held to a scripture in the Bible. I can't remember all the way to just, but I give you the gist of it. You don't kick nobody out your life. They remove themselves. They kick themselves. Like, so I had to hold on to that, knowing that this is all I know. I don't know what's in front of me. What the heck? Like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to be around? And, it was just a lot. So I've seen a lot of people who wants to fight for better. And particularly us, want to fight for better, but get caught up. Like, everybody turning against them. They don't see what's in ahead of them because they afraid, because they don't know, and they don't have that family support. So I didn't let somebody recently know, like, family is what you make it. You know that, right? Just because they share the same blood as you doesn't mean they family. It means they're a relative. That's it. Your family is the loyal and support system that's gonna ride with you from the bottom to the top. That's family. But at the end of the day, it's still hard.
And, at the end of the day, what I've had to come to understand is like when you were talking about dumbing down and getting caught up out of the fear, thinking that if I don't do this, they're not going to love me. I won't be accepted. That fear right there will keep me trapped. And one of the important lessons that I learned, and it was hard because like I said, I gravitated back to the streets every time from the time I first got out there. Every time I called myself going to change my life, I gravitated back because of that fear about I, like you said, I didn't know what was in front of me, but I was comfortable with what this is, and I would take the abuse and the toxic stuff that come with it because it's comfortable. But getting out of that mindset and start walking through that fear was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And we try to work with our participants and and let them know that you have to work through that fear because that fear is real and it will have me missing out on what's really meant for me. And what I had to come to understand is family or no family, everybody's not meant to go where I'm heading.
Say that.
But the only thing I also understand is once I start moving ahead, I'm also supposed to reach my hand back and grab whoever wants. See, like I also had to learn, you can't bring somebody with you who doesn't want to go.
Say it again.
You can't bring anybody with you who doesn't want to go. And I was getting caught up in the fantasy that everybody that was close to me was going to really buy into my dreams and everything like that. And the people I find out, Tony, that I help the most now are strangers, and I'm okay with that. You I believe that family and friends will support you, but strangers will make you rich.
Absolutely. Like that. Yes.
So let's get to while we're talking about money and getting rich and all of that. Let's talk about the importance of establishing a line of credit and things that we have to do if we're trying to purchase land, purchase a house, or anything like that. If I was to step to you and I say, "Hey, Tony, I want to buy a house," what would be the steps that you will walk me through?
The first three questions. What's your credit score? Do you have assets? And how long you been on your job?
Okay.
So if a person say, well, what do I need a credit score for? Just say if they say, because this is how I used to think back then. What I need a credit score for? I have cash. Okay. So then I go into, do you have a legit business? How are you using that cash? You know, how can you count that cash? Because they definitely will come.
Mhm.
And if they'll let you buy it, but they'll come and take it. And you can't do nothing about it until you prove how you got that cash. You know what I mean?
All right.
So those are the first three questions. I mean, answers, no questions. And then if they say, hey, I don't say if they didn't do none of that, or they don't know, maybe they don't know their credit score. So I have a credit repair woman that I can refer them to. I have 3 loan officers. You know, what one loan officer might not push through, the other one might work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I have a system. It's a system in place because my main focus is, like you said in the beginning, for all of us to win, not only for money, mentally, because in order for you to win with the wealth, your mindset has to be wealth. So if I can educate you and you come to me and using the system that God has created, which is my team, to educate you for you to flourish. And that's my main objective. I don't care about nothing else because money gonna come, just like I said. Right. I would rather see another person winning for one reason. They won't have to ask me for no money or nothing.
That's always a good reason, right there. That's always a good reason.
Yes, one reason.
So even though I know you do the real estate, but the credit repair, and when you recommend people for the people, your credit repair person, what are some of the myths that people, when it comes to building or repairing credit, what are some of the myths that you've heard and had to deal with some of the people that they really don't understand? Because like I was telling you before we went live on air, is that everything I was doing prior to a few years ago, before I got out the streets, was always with cash, cash, cash. So when I started talking about credit and everything, I was like one of those ones was like, oh man, I was in the dark, and I had like a 514 score. And I was like, I thought it was good. People was like, nah, that's trash. I'm like, what? But what I come to find out was building that credit up wasn't as hard as what I thought it was going to be. So what are some of the myths that people go through about repairing or establishing credit?
You don't need it if you got money. I had the same mindset. Like, what do I need my credit for? And I got money. I'm paying cash for everything. Like, seriously, because I'm thinking as well, like I can pay cash for whatever. And that's what I was doing. Whatever car, whatever house, my house, I mean, properties, everything that I have, cash.
Right.
Guess what? I was working backwards.
Right.
I was making the what? Money. And I was working for who? The money. So you get that, like what I need. And another thing that I used to say is, why would I get my credit built all up so somebody can steal it? Identity theft, baby, boom. Guess what? They come for my credit. They come by, ooh, shot. Let me go to the next good credit. So I had this whole ordeal. And not only that, I wasn't raised to think about credit. I watched my parents. They'd go, oh, you give them some money? Oh, that's your fault. I ain't paying that back. So what on my credit? So I wasn't taught. I was ignorant to it. But now that I know, it makes sense. I can have all this money and have this credit, right? I know I don't need this credit because I have the money. But why not use somebody else's money?
Right.
Why not? Because it's not no, you giving me a credit and I have to pay it back with interest. No, because your mindset had to steer towards, all right, I have this money. If I get this credit, I'm about to triple this credit. So I'm not giving y'all nothing back, or I'm not working to build or pay this credit off because I use what you gave me to double it or triple it. So I'm winning. That's like me asking you, can you loan me 10,000 to start a business? I don't have no business come to ask you to loan me no 10,000 to start no business if I'm not gonna do nothing but use the money to go buy me some designer stuff or something that's not making me no money. So when it's time to pay you back, I'm really hurting. Once again, what am I doing? I'm working for what? The money. I'm not allowing that money to work for me. So, I'm not really all the way savage with the credit. That's why I send my clients to a credit repair if they need that. Because sometimes us, our color, African American, Black, we don't even know that we possibly have good credit.
Right.
What I mean? Because we don't steer towards that. We don't get taught that. We're not exposed to that. You possibly don't even need credit repair. You can get your first home because you've been on your job. Them people who've been on their job for all them years, and they be like, oh my God, this is stressing me out, and they paying rent, don't even know that they could go ahead and get them a house and you only have to be on your job for 2 years, access, and a good credit score, and you might have a good credit score.
Yeah,
we're ignorant to it. We're not exposed to it.
When you speak of assets, what are some things that are that the banks and lending industry consider assets? So that because there might be some people who are ignorant of what you're talking about, and they might have all that, and they're like, "Oh, okay, hold on, I've been on my job for 2 years. She's talking about this assets. I might have some of that stuff." What would be some of the things, just simple things that we don't even realize that we have that might be assets that might help a person be able to obtain a loan?
401ks, retirement money, car. Guess what? Child support. If you got a significant amount of money back due on child support and you get paid that, you can use that child support check for a down payment. Your savings account. Like, it's so much. The assets I'm basically saying is, say if you get this loan and you get approved for this loan, where are your down payment? Maybe you don't qualify for them to cover the down payment. So say if the down payment 5,000 or 10,000, do you have access to cover that? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean when I'm talking about access, because cars, these fancy cars, these little toys around your house, video games, designer purses and clothes, jewelry. That's all stuff that you can go pawn, sell, and get up money,
Those are assets. See, that's why we need to have these conversations, because some people don't realize that, okay, it's easier for me to liquidate some of this stuff so I can have that down payment, so I can improve my life. Because what people don't realize is once you buy that home, you have a bigger piece of asset to establish more credit and to help you to walk further if you want to go ahead and get into some businesses or anything like that. So they all work hand in hand. I asked a question the other day on Facebook: what's more important, personal credit or business credit? But I gave them the answer. I said, if you're a sole proprietor, understand your personal credit is your business credit. And, got to understand it's important to keep.
So what do you think?
What do I think? Personal credit starting off, but I also need to have a good credit history. That's the thing right there that a lot of people don't understand. is having good credit versus credit history is also a thing that we have to look at. Do I pay my bills on time? If I get this loan, do I pay my bond? What does my payment history look like? If I have credit cards, is my history look real good? Because see, like, even if like right now, with me, I'm doing a lot of things that I've been doing for my nonprofit and other things. I've had to use my credit cards to, do that stuff because I'm not liquidating my stocks and stuff like that to do that because that's for my future. I got 5 kids. I need to leave them something. I'm trying to find somewhere that has some generational wealth, right?
Absolutely.
So I also understand that I went past that third, that 1/3% of what they recommend you don't spend on your credit because I had to. Credit score dropped, but one thing that good was in my favor is my credit history. I paid all my credit cards off on time. I mean, paid my bills on time, and more than the minimum. More than the minimum. Personal loans, I pay them off, and I pay them on time. My bills, pay them on time. So personal credit to me is more important because I might not. I could close my business any day, but I still need to have my personal credit.
I say both.
They go hand in hand, but personal
Yeah.
credit, because like I say, business can fold, but I still need. I can start up a new business as long as I got good personal credit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You absolutely right.
So what?
So
Go ahead.
mhm.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to go to land.
Okay. So what are some of your goals that you have on as far as like what you because y'all know we were talking and you were saying that you want to make this a family business at what you're doing. So what are some of your goals about my bad. I'll shut up. Did I say something? My bad. My bad.
That's the secret.
Okay.
That's the
Now, well,
secret.
let's go. Well, let's bypass that. What is the importance of establishing, if you could, because like when we were talking about in our community, we're not taught about financial literacy. We're not taught about the importance of establishing and building credit. We're not taught about a lot of that stuff. So if you could change the narrative and show people how to go about creating generational wealth, what would you recommend to them as far as real estate? Would you recommend to them about buying a house or buying land?
Both. Both. But most importantly, land, because land does not, you hear me? Does not depreciate at all. And just like I was saying to you before we got on live, everyone reaching out to me about these investment properties and land and stuff. I mean, not land, but houses and things. And to be honest, Wes, the land is where it's at because it does not depreciate. You can build on your land when you want to. It's no rush. Just keep it up, of course, grass cut or whatever. And when you decide to do something with it, allow your land to flourish. It does not depreciate. So you can't sit a house there for too long and not do anything with a house. You cannot do that because what's going to happen? The pipe's going to burst.
Right.
The electric going to be something wrong with it. There's going to be all type of animals living in there. It's going to be a disaster. But land does not depreciate. And I tell all my clients that I understand you want a house, but if you have friends or you have money to invest in you some land, get some. This land is not too high. I'm gonna say not too high. But guess what? The stimmy that they've been sending out to people, they're your land, Don't give it back to the government. Put it in you. Let's build wealth. If you don't see the wealth within you right now, allow your children and your children's children and keep going. That generational wealth. Start from somewhere. Use the PPP loans. Use the income tax check. Heck, listen, get your friends. Get a group of your like-minded friends, sit around a round table It kills land. Invest in it. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that. And then plan it out later. Just as long as you know you got the paper, black and white, say, I own such and such, such, such. Land is going, I told you, for as cheap as 3,500. And then they go up. But at least the 3,500, it don't have to be extravagant area. At least it's your land. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it get deep. And I force that with my clients because I care more about helping them build and making it easier for their children and them, than some money. Like that's gonna come. I'm a hustler. I've been a hustler since the day I was born. You hear me? Right. It ain't going nowhere. And I'm not Toni Holmes with HER Realtors. I'm not a realtor. That doesn't define Toni still. Just like being a felon doesn't define me.
Right.
Being a motivational speaker doesn't define me. Being a life coach doesn't define me. Being a mother, godchild, everything. I define me. I add to that. And this title is great. And everybody see, just like I said at the event, they see the title. Realtor. She made it and she's a felon. Guess what? It means way more to me. People don't even know what it took to get here, literally, and what it's going to take for it to flourish, because this isn't for me. Isn't for me. It isn't for my family. They got it good. They have a mother that's never going to end. It's never going to stop. It's for them. It's for the people. It's for us. It's for the women in prison. It's for the men in prison. It's for literally the hood that has that mindset that walks out and doesn't see nothing but the local dope dealer, the local female who messing with the dope dealer, living like they lavish. It's for all that to give them hope to know that you can be and become beyond what you see. Just because you see that every day, you do not have to become that at all. So it's a lot. It's just not no realtor. I'm just not a realtor.
That's right. So as far as like I know we met this week at event that was that they put on, that James Clay put on, as far as like helping us to reimagine what it looks like coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Anything on the burners as far as like how would you like to try to help change the narrative? Because my big thing is always changing the narrative of how people look at us as restored citizens, returning citizens, and everything like that. Are there any plans that you have that you are trying to help our community as far as like restored citizens?
Absolutely. You know that. Absolutely. Right now, I'm just allowing God to align me with the right people that we can do it together, because I've been trying to do it on my own for a few years. I started with an organization, an all-women organization called Make a Sound. And I envision the Make a Sound as we uplift each other. We get together, read books, be on the same page, get back to the community, which we did. We used to go out, make homemade chili, go downtown, walk around in the cold by ourselves and pass out the homemade chili and stuff. Anti-bullying. My daughter, she's one of my biggest inspirations, because she used to get bullied real bad, and you would think like she was isolated so bad that you would think she would hide and run and just give up on life. But she used to be like, Mom, I want to go to school. I'm like, hold on, you want to go to school? I pick you up with a black eye but slip. You don't care about these kids? Oh no, I want to go to school. So she helped me break through being a prisoner in my mindset.
Right.
So I started that. We started the anti-bullying rallies, and we did so much stuff, giving back. We used to do care packages and everything. But with that being said, it aligned me with, it actually birthed the motivational speaker because of talking to Tony C, because I was always so closed and suppressed so much stuff that I walked around and I felt like everything was on my shoulders. So I didn't know how to ask for help. But I wanted to break through that. So for those women, the returning citizens, I know everybody say reentry, returning citizens, but they always were citizens.
Right.
I'm not saying you're a returning citizen because you have always been a citizen. What it is you returning your greatness that they try to take from them, So, and we are going to help them flourish that about them. So that's my passion, to give back to the citizens that has been taken from their environments, and it might be needed because I think I needed that, to re-evaluate and dissect myself maybe and all that stuff. So, or to restore us so we can help them when they get out. So yes, I definitely have, that answer. I definitely have some great stuff that is about to be in the community, especially with women in prison or out of prison or in prison. Still in prison, I'm going.
I'm going to hook you up with a lady. She wants to, and it might be a good partnership. She wants to start something for women who end up, being incarcerated or in the justice system, as far as like, catching conspiracy cases for just who they're with, being in a relationship with the dope dealer. And the loyalty and all of that, and they, they'll come at, they'll
rather die.
right. And and I think what you're already doing and what her plans are, I think it would be a good fit, to probably help, because that does need to be addressed. Because like I know from my point of view of being somebody who was hustling, they will come at the people that they think are the closest to try to find if they're going to be the weakest link, and hoping that what I'm saying, hey, you tell us are you going to prison, and
Yeah,
and they
I
don't,
got told that a whole lot.
yeah, and they don't understand what it does for the females, and how it really wrecks our families. Because one of the things that happened during the crack era, this is real significant. A lot of people overlook in the Black community. Crime wasn't new in the Black community or any community, period. And it's always been the Black woman who's held the thread to our community. But during the crack era, that was the first time that, that drug affected the women so much, not just the ones who were getting high, but the ones who got caught up, who were in relationships with the dope boys and stuff like that, where we had a whole generation of kids who were being raised by who? You see what I'm saying? Because that was the first time that the Black woman was really affected.
Not in control.
Yeah, out of control and affected by what was going on. So it's time that we start addressing some of that stuff. And like one of the things that we're looking to do is also helping helping the children of the incarcerated parents, because it affects it affects the women, to be away from their children and everything like that. Because who can, and it also affects the children real bad. And those are some of the things that we need to start working on. I believe if we can do that in our community, I really do. So like before
I
we get out
really
of
believe
here,
it.
if you could tell before we get out of here, if you could tell anybody who is teetering on, I want to get out the lifestyle, but I don't think I can, and anything like that, if you could just tell that one person one thing that you think that will help them change their minds to say, okay, I can make a better life for myself without having to stay in a lifestyle, what would that be? I, I lost you.
Get out the
Oh,
environment. Your environment can be possibly your parents, your siblings, your best friends, and everything. Get out. I was told that you can't change nobody but yourself.
Right.
But when they watch you change, you give them hope, you know, and they have the will, or you give them hope that, hey, if she can do it, or he can do it, I can do it. Get out that environment. Once you get out that environment, then you can tap into your mindset. But you're gonna be lonely for a very long time. It's a lonely road. It's almost as if an addict to recovery. They're trying to shake that addiction. But guess what? That breakthrough is something like is way better than a high, way better than money, way better than anything you can possibly think of right now. Even my Chanel toque I keep asking for. Way better than that. Get out that environment. Allow your mindset to be free. Think. Face that. Face those thoughts in your head. Because I ran for them for a very long time. Face it.
And again, I'd like to thank you. I really do, Toni, for taking this time and having this conversation. And we will be bringing you back on. Talk about some of these things that you have on the burner. So as they manifest that, because the name of the game is giving people hope, and that's the name of the game. The more people, the more as we manifest things in our life, we're supposed to come back. And one of the best ways of giving back is giving people hope. I tell them, like, look, this is where I was. These are the steps that I took. This is where I'm at now. This is what I'm planning to do. And I will come back and check in with you guys when I get to this stage and the next this stage in my life, so that I can give you some hope. Because one of the things that I believe in is, like I said, as I'm progress forward, I'm supposed to reach back and help somebody else.
Can I leave them with something too?
Sure you can.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
That's right.
It's always you versus you, not you versus them. It's always you versus you. And your visualization is important. When you close your eyes, what do you see? Because when you open them, it gets real. You don't see that support. You see you. You see that mirror, you don't see nobody else in that mirror but you. What you gonna do with you? So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And can't nobody change you but you. And you have to want it. I always tell when I go speak, that door is made for you. But once you get to that door, build that platform, because that's what I'm aiming to do, what do? You reach back. You always reach back. Always.
Oh.
Whether and reach back to the ones that's like, help. Not the ones who rejecting it. That's fine. They're gonna need a little bit more convincing. Don't stay stuck on that part. The ones that want to get the help, they have a whole nother support system that need that help. That's it. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
That's right. If anybody wanted to get in touch with you as far as like trying to buy a home, or even ask you for motivational speaking or anything like that, life coaching or anything, any of the services that you offer, how could they go about getting in touch with Toni?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Let me see what else. I'm on all the social media because I'm forced to. But the best way to contact me is through phone, text message, voicemail, or call. Area code 313-655-5688. Again, area code 313-655-5688. And my email, this is the email for everyone who wants to build their capital. Let's build it. Let's build this generational wealth, because I'm with it. I can't wait. This politics, this world ain't about to be ready for us. We about to blow up. Anyways, y'all know, it's Toni, Toni.Holmes, HOLMES, at HER Realtors, REALTORS.com.
We'll have all that.
Let's make it happen together.
That's right. And all her information will be in the description and everything like that. So you can get in touch with her. Again, Toni, I'd like to thank you for taking this time. Thank you for this conversation. Hopefully we put some hope into somebody that they can understand that no matter, like you said, it's not where you start, it's how you, is where you finish. And let's take it to the next level and let everybody know that just because we made a mistake doesn't mean that we have to pay for it for our whole lives. We do
Absolutely.
get out here and do positive things. If you would like to support this channel, you can. So the Cash App and the PayPal and the Venmo is on the flyer and also in the description. If you don't have to give it, just support it by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, share this video and the other contents that's on our channel with your friends. Let's get the narrative out there to have people understand that, look, we do we do come home and we start doing positive things. That's why the name of this podcast and this YouTube channel is No More Chains, Road to Freedom. With that being said, I'd like to tell everybody thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you on the next one. You have a good day.